This is Tom Jacobs from tdjacobs.com, and I'm an evolutionary astrologer and also a channel, an energy worker, and a medium. And at tdjacobs.com, you'll find all kinds of healing tools of all kinds, including the Chiron Natal Report, which treats your own personal Chiron placement by house sign and aspect, as well as transit progressions to your Chiron for the next year and transits of Chiron to the rest of your chart for the next year. So I've been busy over the years developing teachings on certain archetypes, and Chiron is definitely one of them. There's also a book, Chiron 2012 in the Aquarian Age, the key and how to use it. And the Chiron pages on my site give you some overviews. Get there from the articles page. So this video is on Chiron in the sign of Capricorn, the natal placement. And I want to be clear at the outset that I don't treat Capricorn as the same as Saturn or the 10th house. I think of the sign as a process a planet is working through, or what motivates that planet. So normally a planet in Capricorn seeks to build something over the long term, seeks to become respectable, become mature, become more grounded and realistic, and to, filter everything through the lens of practicality and realism. So that's just one note here within Capricorn. First, I treat Chiron as the energy antenna within your psyche. So Mercury is a perception function, Venus is the relating function and how you develop a value system. Chiron for me is how you sense energy and emotion in others and can be triggered. So I don't believe that you have two options with Chiron, to be wounded or wounded healer. I think that wounding and healing are byproducts of energetic and emotional sensitivity. For more on that, check out the Chiron overview video here on YouTube, and also the Chiron and energy management video. So those two videos, and actually the whole Chiron playlist, because I've done all the natal houses and I'm about halfway through the signs right now as of late August 2018. So there's a lot of resources to check out. Okay, so Chiron, the energy antenna, a person may be hypersensitive to how others react to him or her, in this case in Capricorn, when he or she builds something. Slows down to create something according to a long-term vision or plan, and owns authoritatively what needs to be done, and essentially is the boss of her or his own life. So when someone with Chiron and Capricorn does that, there's this thing, your autonomy, your ability to trust yourself to be respectable and responsible. That's kind of what the Chiron wounding can be about. Now, I always look at Chiron as triggered, the Chiron wound, as triggered when we're infants. Sometimes it's just after we're born. Sometimes, there's a prefiguring of it in the womb, and people can have memories or be regressed to those times. The sense of rejection, being worthy of rejection or not being worthy of love, are kind of the terrain here. And with Chiron, it's triggered when you're an infant, when someone you're relying on for safety and support and validation somehow rejects you or withholds love, or love is pulled away. Most of the vast majority of the time, it's inadvertent. So don't, presume nefarious motives in every parent or caregiver. It's that as every human is on the planet to learn to become the source of love for the self, we have all kinds of experiences, including in infancy when Chiron wounding is triggered, that bring us to be pushed into pain, not feeling valid, not feeling loved, so we can eventually grow up into becoming the source of love for ourselves. It's the overarching mission of every human life, is to figure out, or at least to be pushed into crappy stuff, technical term here, so that you can learn to become loving. So with Chiron and Capricorn, the baby may have, asserted something or tried to control the environment or tried to make something happen, and it was taken out of the hands by the parent, or something that was probably innocuous on the face of it, but there's a sense of personal agency and authority that would be damaged or wounded in the kid. So now fast forward decades later, and like I said, I don't count Capricorn as the same as the 10th house. This could come out at work for people, but it's more often in being practical, grounded, realistic, and like I said, being in charge of one's own life. So so you notice people, well, you have Chiron and Capricorn, you notice people around you kind of working towards something, and part of you feels very vulnerable and as if you can't do that. That's Chiron and Capricorn. Respectability, responsibility, worthy of validation through the lens of Capricorn means being worthy of respect. So as you can probably guess, in becoming the source of love for yourself, the healing with Chiron and Capricorn is in accepting that everybody's vulnerable when they try to be in charge of things. Everybody does, but you are hypersensitive to how others react to you when you take charge of something. Now, when you do take charge of something, it will be in a unique way. But then again, somebody looks at you and they might think, oh, I've never seen that before. That's interesting. But you're receiving it as, that's weird, you're wrong, I can't believe I'm seeing this travesty in front of me. So you're hypersensitive. A lot of times with Chiron stuff, I think of what I call the bad burrito syndrome, which is when you say to someone, hey, I have this great idea, let's do this thing. And that person goes, and you think, I should never have said anything. And that's because that person may have eaten something that disagreed with him or her, but you're taking it personally. That's a very real Chiron thing that happens all the time. So Chiron and Capricorn structure, like when you structure your life, when you set things up, when you have ambition, that's a huge thing with Chiron and Capricorn, a wounding to the willingness to be ambitious. Because again, if you assert ambition, if other people have any kind of reaction, you'll be inclined to overreact and interpret it as a judgment, or you're not acceptable or something like that. With Chiron and Capricorn, it can be that idea of respectability and responsibility. Maybe the chart holder says or does or asserts something, and other people who do have authority kind of laugh or think it's cute. And that vulnerability in the person, maybe there's teasing that comes as a result too. It might not even be ill will. It might even be good-natured, but the pain is there, that idea of I'm not respectable. So the Chiron and Capricorn person has to respect herself from the inside out, and that involves parenting the inner child, which I explain in the Chiron book and also the Chiron Natal Report. So to get more on your own Chiron, get the Chiron Natal Report. It's original. I started it in 2010, I guess, and just because of some other things in my life, I didn't finish it until late 2017. And then really started promoting it in 2018. But it's really helping people shift perspective on this false dichotomy between wounded and wounded healer, and move into becoming the source of love for themselves, letting their parents off the hook for not loving them in the right way because the souls involved agreed to do it that way. So anyway, you can check all that out at tdjacobs.com. And also my new site, healingsuicide.com, explains a lot about soul, its multi-life journey, what happens at and after death, and how we can learn to deal with difficult emotions that may lead to being suicidal. So, okay, take care of yourself, and bye-bye.